going to see a big problem with the Trump administration, in which they will have to choose which way to go. Because if on one side they push the domestic economy, they go on with this stimulus, with this tax cut, with the infrastructure expenditure, so probably the economy will boom, there will be overheating, there will be probably an interest rate increase, and hence a stronger dollar. In the meantime, he's talking about imposing border protectionist measures, tariffs, and so on and so forth. These two things don't go together. So, I mean, they will have to make a choice. My guess is...
For years, we've been arguing about how do you redress the imbalances of globalization, where here Donald Trump seems to be doing something about it.
Yeah, Donald Trump is going the way, okay, let's reverse globalization.
Can he do it?
America is a large country, but I still don't believe they can stop this process. They can delay it, they can opt out of it for a certain period, which is interesting because geopolitically speaking, it may change things. I mean, if there is a trade bloc that emerges in the Pacific without the United States and with China in it, this will change things dramatically. We were mentioning before beginning the conversation, what if Europe starts looking at China instead of the United States? You see, there are all these things that, of course, we cannot know anything now. But, I mean, he's playing with fire, I think. America is too big to just opt out of the world economy.
Dan Mitchell, do you take what he says seriously? Or is this, as we heard from Dana White, perhaps just a bargaining posture and that it'll all be settled at the table with Beijing?
I hope Dana's right, because if Trump does launch a global trade battle like we had in the 1930s, that's not going to end well. And as a matter of fact, I disagree with the notion that there are global imbalances. If America decides to buy a lot of things from overseas, and those foreigners who then have dollars decide that the best thing to do with their dollars is to invest in the U.S. economy, that's actually a sign of strength in America. That's not an imbalance. We have to remember, the automatic flip side of a trade deficit is a capital surplus. And I don't think it's a bad thing that foreigners want to invest in America. I don't think it's a negative thing. I don't think it's something that requires politicians to start intervening in the economy. So I desperately hope Trump is simply negotiating, although negotiating for what is the next question we have to ask, because if there's some big global trade war, sort of like Smoot-Hawley and the 1930s, that would really be horrible for global growth. Bad for America, bad for the rest of the world.
You make it sound like he doesn't have a plan.
I don't think he has a plan. I think he's flying by the seat of his pants. I suspect he probably didn't think he was going to get elected. And he's sort of governing by gut instinct as opposed to any underlying philosophy. And this is why, when Dana said that this is not the 1980s and Reaganomics anymore, I agree with her as an analysis. But I find that to be very distressing, because at least Ronald Reagan had a cohesive, coherent theory that government was too big and we had to reduce all these barriers, the taxes, the trade barriers, the government spending. With Trump, we're going to be going in all directions at once. And that kind of chaos, I suspect, is not going to end well.